Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me. An okay Saturday. A little bit of a rebound after our rough Friday and even Thursday. Eugenio Suarez, Michael Harris, Kerry Carpenter, Aaron Judge, warming Bernabel. A little round of applause there. I said, it's about time we get off the train. I've been riding it a little too long. Maybe it's left the station and I forgot my ticket. But I put the little soccer icon yesterday by it, and I said I would maybe find a way to get to it at 8-1, and it cashed. Brent Rooker and Colby Thomas, we swept the Oakland picks yesterday. The good feeling I get from this is when I look over here, I see a lot of green, which means I was optimistic about Oakland bats. I was optimistic about Atlanta bats. I was optimistic about the park conditions in Colorado and Oakland and in Atlanta. And overall, I thought these these 3 games looked good. And then you get 2 from yellow, but it's Carpenter and it's Judge who can go in Oracle in 30-degree weather when the wind's blowing in at tsunami speed. So we'll take that and we'll feel good about that. And then I know you guys are curious. I did pull off the double between the legs at the Urban Air. A lot of you said you're old. But for lack of a better word, you're a little bit old. And I don't know if you still got it. Well, let's look at it again. I put this at 0.75 speed. We still got it a little bit. All right, we pulled it off. Now, don't ask how many tries it took. Don't look and say, well, there's a taller goal over here. Why didn't you do it on that one? Well, by golly, I tried. I tried a lot, and I couldn't pull it off on the tall goal. So I had to go to the little kitty goal, and then I could get the double between the legs. Between the legs, single, no problem over here. A little behind the back, no problem over here. 360, no problem over here. But the double, it just couldn't be done. Let's look at today. Game in Washington. The over-under in this game is set at 10, which is nuts. Aaron Nola is pitching. First game back after his injury. I think Washington matches up well against him. Josh Bell and C.J. Abrams would be my picks for Philadelphia. Harrison Bader and Nick Castellanos. But I have written anyone, anywhere, anytime because I truly think that this could be a field day for both teams batting-wise. Now, I was going to suggest the over because in my head I thought it's going to be set at 8.5, 9.5. And when I looked and I saw it was at 10, I said, okay. I've priced it fair at about 8.5, 9.5. I could maybe be talked into it at that number, but at 10, they know what I know. Like the books are seeing what I'm seeing, so I don't feel like I have any sort of edge. So regardless, I think you could get runs and home runs in this one. Game in Boston. Boston has a severe advantage in the fact that Garrett Crochet is pitching. Jansen Junk is pitching here. The conditions, believe it or not, look good for Boston. Wind is blowing out. It's warm. Alex Bregman and Willie Abreu are my leans. Game in Toronto, pretty lopsided here. Eovaldi has been stellar for Texas, and so I am staying away from. I'm advising being cautious. Let's say that. For the Toronto bats, Addison Barger and Vladimir Guerrero would be my leans. For Texas, they look good today. Rowdy Tellez, Corey Seager are my official leans. Josh Smith, if you want a little rush, if you want a bit of a long shot, if you want to sweat a little bit, if you want to have high hopes and low expectations, Josh Smith is your play. Game in Cleveland, 1,400 for Stephen Kwan. Am I seeing that correctly? Am I reading that correctly? Are they putting the right line out there? 1,400 for our man who hit one this week when we called him. Stephen Kwan. Now, there is some issue with the wind. It's coming in a little bit, but the way it looks, lefties should be less impacted than righties. So at 14-1, guys, I'm willing. I'm willing and able to go Stephen Kwan 14-1. Kyle Manzardo 4-1, Jerickson Profar at 6-1. Game in Cincinnati. Barn burner last night. I don't know if you saw. I don't even remember the final score. It was something like 11-10 or 14-12. It was wild. Andrew Vaughn, Danny Jansen comes over from the Rays. Haven't heard much of him since he's been traded. I like him today against Andrew Abbott at 425. Austin Hayes and Tyler Stevenson. It looks like Cincinnati should have an advantage in the bats over Milwaukee here. Now, how does that translate after last night's letdown and yada, yada, yada? There's other factors. I get it. But just looking strictly at batter versus pitcher, Cincinnati looks better today. I want to draw your attention to something, as I know there are some boosts out there today. I have found more than in days past some major discrepancies in batting and pitching and team advantages. A lot of the times it's equal. But today, I think Boston has a big advantage. I think Texas has a big advantage. I think Cleveland has a moderate advantage, and I think Cincinnati has a moderate advantage. So, check the money lines, right? Boston's going to be minus 220-ish probably. So there's probably not a ton of value there. I don't know what Texas is. I don't know what Cleveland, but if you look and you say, wow, this is green, this is red, and if Texas is, like a minus 120, minus 140, maybe there's some value on Texas, just based on my reads and my analysis. So I'm noticing that today, and it continues. Game in Houston, I think Houston has the advantage today against Dean Krimmer. Now, Dean Krimmer has turned it around. He has looked better lately, and if you want to ride his hot hand, then stay away. But Carlos Correa and Jesus Sanchez are my leans there. Game in Kansas City, it's 99 degrees today. It is a scorcher. There's a clip, I think, of Bob Costas interviewing Ichiro about I forget what the interview is about, but Ichiro says Kansas City in August is hotter than two rats in a wool sock or something like that. I don't know. So people don't want to play in Kansas City in August, and today is especially true. Vinny Pasquantino, 525. I got to find that clip. Maybe we'll do that at the end. Game in Minnesota, Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter, Matt Wallner, and Byron Buxton are all my leans. Kerry Carpenter at that price, I wouldn't play him. You know what that means. You should go out and bet him right now. I think Riley Green has some value even at 4-1. I think Detroit has the advantage in this one. Game in St. Louis, Yankees look good. I'm not saying that the Cardinals don't look good. Lars Nootbaar at 680 is a good price. Alec Burleson even at 6-1 is very fair price. Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger are my leans. However, Grisham, Stanton, and Chisholm all look good. So feel free to pick and choose there. I don't think it's a bad spot. Game in Chicago is a likely pass, although I do think Michael Busch at 540 has some value. The wind is blowing in. I don't see a ton of home runs in this one. I think you take Cubs money line, even though the Cubs have been stalling, to put it positively. So, again, here, Cubs, Yankees, Tigers, maybe Houston, if you want to just look at money lines today. I think all of those teams have an advantage, especially in the first five, if we just want to look at pitching matchups. Last games of the night, game in Colorado. Looks good again for weather and park, but pitching makes me nervous. Nabel Chrismat is pitching for the first time for the Diamondbacks. Unsure of his ability, but on paper, nobody for Colorado looks good against him. And that's saying a lot because this game is taking place at Coors Field. So I'm staying off of there. Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte are usual suspects. It's annoying. I'm annoyed by it. But I can't find anybody else on this team who looks like they want to hit a home run. And Marte at 425 in Coors is a good price. Game in Oakland, or Sacramento, I should say. The Athletics look to have a small disadvantage in pitching. Jose Soriano has been solid, especially at not allowing the homer. Nicholas Kurtz at 450, although Tyler Soderstrom at 6-1 is very tempting. If we want to put it in that where it's tempting. 6-1 for Soderstrom. Zach Neto and Taylor Ward are my leans for the other side. I think Angels money line has some value. Game in San Francisco, I'm skipping. You guys know why. You know me. Game in LA looks good for the Dodgers and looks good overall. Somehow against Yu Darvish, though, the Dodgers look good. I can't figure that out, but we'll take what the data gives us. Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis for San Diego, Ohtani and Will Smith for LA. But again, anybody I think on LA is worth a look. And then lastly, the Sunday night baseball game at 7 o'clock, we have Seattle and New York. Now, I need to tell you that this is being played at the Little League World Series Stadium. So it's not being played at the Mets' typical stadium. And you may think, oh, wow, they're playing this at a Little League stadium. That means we're going to get home runs. The dimensions of this park are rather unforgiving. It's a deeper than average center field. Right field is deeper than the left field, but the left field still is pretty deep. Normal fences. So I don't like it. Mixed with George Kirby and Griffin Canning pitching and Sunday Night Baseball, which typically has provided us less home runs. Cal Raleigh and Josh Naylor maybe, but outside of that, I don't even want to write them down, truth be told. So I would stay away from this. So that's what I got for you today. Again, if you want to support me in any way, you can join the Patreon, $10 a month. You can be in some contests. We can do some things there. I know you guys like it when I give you official lean plays that may or may not be real. I don't know. Tyler Soderstrom really catches my eye at 6-1. Marte, if you can get him at 425, looks good. Michael Bush, I think, has value, but I'm not going to probably play him. I like Newt Barr at 680. Riley Green at 400 is not bad. Quan at 14-1. Count me in on that. Maybe pick somebody in this game. Just some ideas. But I know FanDuel has a stepped up boost today. Add a leg, get an extra bonus. I think there's two options there. I will probably do a hits parlay. I like to do like a 10-leg guy to get a hit. Usually for $10, it can pay $600 to $800. And there's a lot of options today, so I would just go through and pick either Tellez or Seager. I'd go through and pick Bregman or Abreu. I'd look at the green spots and pick guys to get hits from there. Or you can do money lines or spreads. Boston advantage, Texas advantage, Cleveland advantage. I think that's a little bit more risky. But there's some information. Do what you want. Have a good Sunday, and we will see you tomorrow.